you know, breaking them out or freeing herself or what I know you think about it. But I love this cover. We had 36 editions so far. The covers, you'll see some others here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to provide to you my perspective, why I'm so optimistic, and why the Freedom's Phoenix from Lady Liberty's torch, you know, the ashes of liberty, why that was in '96. We understood the power of the internet. We're going, oh, the people haven't had a voice. We did, well, here we freaking go. But we waited until, when video hits the internet, the mid-90s, video never hit the internet. Streamer, yeah, right, old as way. In 2005, video hit, and I go, here we go. June '05, I went to IT guy and said, well, you got, hey man, is there a test? I don't want to know. I just want to know if you can. Fine, let's do it. So we started developing it, and you get on there, you'll see a lot of things, especially that tutorial. There's medicine, technology, computers, materials. I grow carbon nanotubes to make high-density nickel-iron batteries in my barn. I can go on about that. There's so much stuff that we can do. But I'm going to use one thing and just give you why I know the man is so done. And there's a lot of, the big thing that prevents us from moving to a lot of places around the world other than grandkids is technology. Do we have access to the internet? We have to do that. We have to have communications. So I keep an eye on that. We can see what was coming. Go to the next slide. 1962, the Jetsons. So I'm born in '61. I'm 53 years old. 1962, the Jetsons. The space race is going on. Sputnik's out there. We're starting Mercury and Gemini programs. Apollo. JFK comes out, and we're going to go to the moon and bring a man back and rock and roll. And I'm a little kid going, "He freaking hawk." Okay. Go to the next one. That's not the right one. Go to the next one. Let's see. Okay, so then we have Star Trek. It's late 60s, they haven't even landed on the moon, I think, and Star Trek comes out. Right. Well, of course you're going to have all this stuff. It's freaking on TV. I'm a 6-year-old kid, man. I'm like, this is what I expected. Now, all the stuff in Star Trek we have with 3D printers, you practically got replicators. We're looking for transporters and warp drive, and for all you know, DARPA's already got them. So, we're getting there. Next. Then we have the moon landing. I remember in a camper, camping in Florida with my family, my dad keeping me up at 6, 7 years old to watch the first steps on the moon in a camper on a little 6-inch black and white television. So we're sitting there and walk outside, look up there, man on that moon. Okay? That was a commonplace for me. I'm 6, 7 years old, of course. We've been talking about rockets, we've been watching Buck Rogers stuff, all the sci-fi movies, the War of the Worlds. Of course. This is the expectation for me. By the time we get, oh my God, 2001? 2001 was out at this time. So I go to the theater to see that, understood about half of it. But, the thing is that I go to 2001 in my 30s or so, and I'm like, what the heck happened? Where's my flying car? Where's the space race? Next one. But they gave me the space shuttle. In 1970s, the Enterprise got a space shuttle. Then the 80s, next one, they gave me a space shuttle. Then in the 90s, they had another space shuttle. Then it's the 2000s, they gave me a space shuttle. This is government improvement. Okay, this is the progress. This is what you can expect. All right. Next one. So you have all these. This is innovation when government's at the head. Next one. Hurricane, 2004, June of 2004. It was 98 when we went to Washington, D.C. for my brother-in-law's wedding. And my little kids, they were probably, 10, 12, something like that, about then. So we go to the Air and Space Museum, and I'm just like, peace, man, go. I showed them, this is that, this means that, and everything. Okay, now go touchy-feely. I know it says don't touch it anyway, whatever, go. So they went in, and at the entrance to the Space Museum, Air and Space, there's a big door over there, and just a wall here. So I'm like standing there, making sure my kids don't sneak out or something. And there was a podium. It was about shaped like this, about this high. And it announced the Anarchapulco X Prize. This is 98, 97, yeah, 98, spring of 98. And I'm going, I read it and it says, the weight of 3 men into space, return, refuel, do it again within 14 days and still maintain 90% of the unfueled weight of it, so they wanted a reusable spacecraft. If they did that, in 14 days you get $10 million. It's the Lindbergh Prize all over again. That was $25,000 back when it was real money. And they're going, we're going to spark a new space race. So I'm going, very cool. I'm on the radio years later. It's 03, and then I hear that Burt Rutan, Scale Composites, that makes a lot of futuristic carbon fiber planes and all this kind of stuff, I was a big fan, that he was being funded $20 million to get a $10 million prize by Paul Allen, Bill Gates' partner in Microsoft. So I'm going, oh, we're going, you know, somebody needs to turn me down. You guys should have thought. I'm putting way out here. So I'm going, wow, we're going to space. I'm on the air, we're going to space, we're going to space, and government's not freaking invited! Okay? You're invited to go. That next year, it was June of 04. So we knew this was coming. A bunch of listeners, some friends, my sons, we have a little caravan, and we drive from Phoenix to the Mojave Desert in the middle of the freaking nothing in California. We get there Sunday night, and it was like Monday morning they're going to do this. We get there late, and it's blowing like crazy out of those windmills out there and so on. Daylight hit, boom, the wind stopped. I go, cool. They had planned this. They launched this, it goes up, comes down, 13,000 people. 13,000 people were out there, okay? Nobody had any signs except one guy that was selling binoculars, okay? We had banners and signs, government is lost in space. The future frontier brought to you by Free Enterprise. You can't hear the government scream in space. There's a bunch of others, but the favorite one, that my senior editor, Pal Gamble, came up with this. We're like, oh, all weekend we're watching Band of Brothers or something, while we're hand painting these signs with a projector on our wall in my living room. We're just hand painting them. When they landed, they're parading the spacecraft, and the Discovery Channel shows this. You know, they had a special Into the Black or something like that. And Burt Rutan ran over, grabbed a sign from me, and he says, I gotta send a message to the media. Ran over the astronaut, gave him the sign, and that picture went around the world except in the US. Why? Because it said this, Spaceship 1, Government 0. When we could go privately into space, oh, I gotta take this one aside real quick. After the after party, we're there, we just got snuck in, you know, billionaires and, you know, Branson, everybody's around, and he invested in Spaceship 2 and all that stuff. So what we did is we had these signs, we're just standing there holding them. You go looking, you know, from this sign on a search image or something, and we're standing there holding these signs, changing out, get another one, you know, all of us are sitting there doing that. Well, what happened, one of the guys from the airport came up and he goes, oh yeah, we had to get special permission. What? Well, we went to the FAA and we said we need a flight plan to go to space. Now, keep in mind, you know, 15 years before, Burt Rutan had done Voyager that went around the world on one tank of gas, 9 days. Remember that? Some of you do remember. So he goes right and goes, what a great country you are. Build a plane, get a tail number, file a flight plan, we're going around the world, peace out, they win. Comes back, man, Reagan, you know, gives him the Medal of Freedom and freedom! We're going to space, are we allowed to leave? Nah. When I went to the FAA first, they go, well, we don't have a form for going to space. She said, thank you very much, and left. We demand a piece of paper that says we don't need a piece of paper. Just created a bureaucracy. I was real buttheaded about it then. Go to the next one. Then they started planning, this is called Spaceport America. This is near Truth and Consequences in southern New Mexico. They made a mistake with a PR thing that the state spent $200-something million building this thing. Next one. And there it is. Don and I went there a few years ago on 4th of July just to hang out in the middle of nothing. Spaceship Two, that's going to be their base. It just went up for sale last week. Okay. We should get back in private hands. So I'm going, this is what's happening now, not later. Next. So if we're able to go into space, I mean, how are we going to get there? What are we going to do? How are we going to be? This is Bigelow Aerospace. You know him as budget suites and hotels. He spent $70, $80 million having a Soviet rocket put up his own space station that's been up since 2006, and you've never heard about it. Oh, I'm sorry. And they put up a second one. Hear about that one either? Genesis 1, Genesis 2. They're up holding pressure right now. They're ready to go to the break next. It is one to center tube, and then it expands with air pressure, and it's got Kevlar, feel, all kinds of shielding and stuff around it. Goes up on a rocket, boom, space station. There's two of them right now. Almost a decade. Never heard about it. Next. That's what they look like. Next. They want to go to Lagrange points. They're going to be way stations going up and down from the moon and Earth, kind of now, not later. Next. The International Space Station, NASA goes, no, you don't want to do that. You don't be American. You know, we're going to let you put one of your modules, you custom build it, we'll put it on the space station, you can do that, give you money, it's all good. Okay, so they did. SpaceX took it up there, it's on the space station right now. Next. But what did this mean? This meant, when I was a kid, they put up Telstar, a big freaking school bus, you know, that weighed a gazillion pounds, cost a gazillion dollars, you know, and had the ability to, you know, do some transfer communication. But I'm going, you know, what happens when you get into, you know, 15 times the power of a school bus is in your smartphone now? So then what? Well, you just have what they call CubeSats in a Kickstarter, and people just did it because they could. So, next. They have different versions of it. Longer ones, shorter ones, next. They're in orbit right now. They launched 30 of them at a time as a side cargo. They get to the space station, oh, by the way, while we're up here, here's a constellation of satellites. What a lot of people don't know, in the late 90s, Motorola put up a constellation called Iridium. Iridium was to have, you know, just ubiquitous cell service, you know, satellite phone everywhere, and then it just kind of never took off. They didn't turn it on. They kind of, no. Why? Because the NSA couldn't bug it. They're just like, oh man, hell no, we want people to have just satellite. So then, just last year, they have a thing, it's called Text Anywhere. They use the Iridium satellite constellation, because they better have, because we're just putting our own up now, to where you can text message and video from anywhere on the planet. South Pole, boom, and it's just a hotspot that you get that uses these satellites. It's been up 15 years. FYI. These are going up now. Next. All kinds of different configurations, and they have standard sizes, because next. They put them in these, you know, what are those? These sea containers, these big giant ones. Next. They got all kinds of different versions that do right now. They have a constellation of 3D mapping the planet or the surface of the Earth every 24 hours. Just started a few months ago. Next. That's how big they are. How many of these are you going to put up? Right. As many as you freaking want. And what do you do with it? Next. They just do a whole bunch at a time. You got your whole constellation system in one little rack that they put as a secondary cargo on SpaceX Dragon capsule that's going to the space station. Next. Outernet Wi-Fi for the world. August 11th, just this last year, the system turned on. I remember that date because it's my anniversary. So they turned on Outernet. Next. You get a dish. There's a dish on the left. It's like you're carrying a Coleman camp stove or something. You open it up. It gives you access to the internet. It downloads to that disk there. That's a hard drive. And the little kid in the Congo that has nothing about nothing, and he becomes the center of his entire valley, his village, his tribe, to be able to interface with the world economy via digital currency. They're doing it right now. This right here houses all kinds of information books, movies, education, Khan Academy, whatever, and then it's a Wi-Fi spot for all the computers and mobile devices for an entire village. This is not labor. Next. Lantern. That whole thing was put into a thing about this size, about 8 inches high, 2 inches cube, and you put it in your pocket and it updates all your stuff. And those are solar panels that charge it. Called Lantern. Outer Net Lantern, look it up. I'm not. All right, next. SpaceX, they call it, we went through the first one, Falcon 1, Falcon 5, Falcon 9. This is Falcon 9. Elon Musk is the one that had PayPal. Elon Musk sells PayPal, and he goes, well, what am I going to do with my gazillion dollars? Well, let's see. Let's, have electric cars with Tesla. My cousin's running the Solar City, does a lot of solar stuff, and gosh darn it, I want to die on Mars, preferably not on Impact. Okay? That's what he says. So he's going, not only can he make you, if you make an airplane, it costs X. I go like this and call it a rocket, it's 1,000X. Why? All the subcontractors, all the government programs, all the restrict that, and he goes, you know what, I'll do it myself, thank you very much. How much does aluminum cost? I'll buy it, raw material. How much is titanium? They 3D print with powdered titanium rocket engine pumps. He started to 3D print everything, like Iron Man, like moving the thing around and so on. He gets up, you go, Elon Musk, Iron Man, and you'll see the video, it'll freak you out. These things that you see on the side are legs that fold out. What a lot of people don't know is he's already landed a couple of times when they go to the space station with Dragon and drop off stuff. The first stage comes back and lands on the water and then falls over. Next. The Falcon 9 is the third one from the left. They're going to Falcon Heavy, like push them together, and then he has a bunch of others that are on the drawing board that's coming. And they're coming. Next. This is Falcon Heavy. This is what's going to be the Mars, putting a lot of the payload in the orbit to start going to Mars. And he's saying 2 or 3 launches of this, we're going to Mars. Next. This is the Dragon space capsule. There's a competition that's going on with Boeing, Lockheed, and whatever. SpaceX Dragon capsule is kicking the crap out. They wanted 7-person capacity. And he goes, yeah, but why parachutes, man? That's so not cool to a 7-year-old. Next. They need to be able to land. This is at the space station. They've already been supplying. What do you think happened when they stopped the shuttle? Somebody had to do it. And then what happened? And everything that we do now, it's old Soviet rockets. I thought we were in sanction with them or something. So he's like, why are we using the I can do this a lot for 15% of the cost. And when I save the first stage of 9 rocket engines that don't go in the ocean, it's going to get uber cheap. Next. This is the inside. The control panel looks like freaking Star Trek. Next. This is the view from the first stage landing on the ocean. They just got a picture of it, took a snapshot as it landed on the ocean. They took a picture. Next. This is the platform that they created. This is their landing pad in the Atlantic that they're going to land. And there's not, go to the next one. There's not that much room. They already hit one. It's in a big storm. They go, what the hell? It's going to go down anyway. Shh, bam, they hit it and it falls over. And I go, they hit it? From space? Oh my God. They have been doing in Texas right now, if you look for Grasshopper, SpaceX Grasshopper, 10-story high rockets have been going up and down, perfecting this technology. It's already been done. Next. And the Dragon lands with rockets. Next. And going to Mars. Now, not later. Next. So on Freedom's Phoenix, we cover this in our magazines and so on, and you don't see it, but above the doorway there in the ship, which is the Phoenix, and it's really cool, the wings kind of thrusting, Biden and perch at that, it's really cool, man. Right up here. Above the door it says, Wichita G. Like a Stan Stoffel thing. Wichita G. We're going to space and government is not invited. Next. This is a space station. When I said, they go, should we stay or should we go? They're like, should we move to Acapulco, go to the Free State Project? And I'm going, go. I mean, a space station orbiting Mars, mining an asteroid. even go. Yeah, next. So what would George Jetson drive? I'm still back, where the hell is my flying car? What the hell? Somebody needs to be slapped around, man. Government, damn freaking Scipios government. Next. They're starting to do this. This is just one version. I talk about this, and people send me stuff on my website and through my radio show all the time. Man, look at this one, and look at this one, and look at this one. These are built now. Next. This is another one. Now the wings go back. The wings on that is kind of switchbladed back. It comes out, and then you take off from the road. Okay, go to the next one. Now Terra Fuega has another flying car, but it's kind of ugly, and just I wouldn't. You're not going to get a date without it. That same company is making this one. Those pods come out and have rotors that go up that's powered by a turbine engine that powers electric turbines on the end. Next. This is what it looks like on the road. Next. That's what it does. Now. Well, this one's coming. We're working on this one now. Next. I am like, why are we not having dirigibles? I want to, it's like, you watch Gold Rush and they're going, oh, we can't get to that mountain, we got the mule crane within the snow and going, we can't get one. How come they don't have a blimp just go over and just drop it down the sea container in peace? Oh, what's going on with it? What happened to that technology? Where did it go? Come to find Aeroscraft is building these now. The problem is, the military does this. Next. Lockheed Martin has one also, and they call this kind of lifting body. It's a little bit heavier, but it gets going just like 30 miles an hour and it pops up next. The military wants 600 to 1,000 ton capacity. They're going to be putting all kinds of armies and just taking them all over wherever they want. Well, that's what they're thinking. What am I thinking next? We're chilling. We're luxury line. We're going around next. You have airlines that are going to be using this stuff. This is coming now. Next. One of our covers, you'll see in the top left, there's one of the blimps that's cop block for security. This is Sandy. This is after Sandy hurricane happened. What would a voluntarist world do? Like Katrina, we covered it on the radio back in the day. 600 bass boats are there to help and go get the people off the water and pull them off their habitat, and FEMA's there with M16s. Oh, no, you're not. I'm like, oh, so F you. So what we do, Sandy happened, let me tell you what we'd be doing. Free aid over there providing medical equipment. Hovercraft bringing in food. To the right on the bottom there is a power station. We have safe Second Amendments for everyone providing arms and ammunition. We got free talk SAT on the top right up there. Top left, top block for security. Boom, shot, voluntarist bulldozer. We got it covered, man. Get out of the freaking way.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
I want my flying house! Mega yachts. You hear about these mega yachts? They're making these really great yachts, and they kind of, I got more money than I know what to do with. I'm the head of the country, oil, underneath my stand of I got to spend some money. So what do they do? These companies are taking Aeroscraft and they're putting the mega yacht slung underneath it. That halo thing that you see there houses all of their water toys and power boats and jet skis and scuba equipment and everything that just lowers down onto the water. You do whatever, you pull it back up, you go to the next Olympics or watch Monaco from the air, the Baja 500, or go land at Pork Fest and have yourself your own party. That's what I want. And who's going to do it? We are. It's being done right now. So let's think about it. What are we going to do? We got the world. What are we going to do? And who's it for? Next. It's for Generation Next. Free your mind, your ass will follow. Peace.